Okay, so now I'm going to show you a few ways to take your terrain model and just visualize it in new cool ways. So let's go to our original data set here, the one that is the entirety of St. Louis, and let's make a hillshade map. Basically all it's going to do is it's going to render this and cast shadows on this map here so you can understand like what does it actually look like as a hillshade. And you'll when you see it, you know what it means. Basically, in the same drop down here is a thing called Hillshade. If you bring your image in here, and it automatically again save all your information to your geodatabase, so you don't need to change it at all. This stuff here I will leave for now, but basically this number here basically means what angle is the sun pointing from. And so if you Google, for instance, azimuth, just to give yourself an understanding of what it is, you'll see that, like for instance, this diagram here, this basically means like where the sun is pointing. So right now it's pointing at 315. If you go back to ArcMap, here you'll see it says 315. 315 degrees. That basically means your sun is pointing here and, pointing here and then pointing that way, which actually is inaccurate. The sun is always down here. You want to do something like 200 or something down here. So let's do like 215 or something like that. So it's 215. And then the altitude, this basically means the angle of that sun. So 45 is too low probably. I think maybe, I don't know, 40. Actually, that's fine, actually, 45. And then Z factor. So this is just basically an intensity factor that you can apply to this map here. If it's 1, it's not going to have that much depth, and I'll show you what it looks like. So just click OK. And actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out a bit because I don't want it to process the whole thing again. So I'm going to let's do Washu. Washu's right here. Yeah, Washu's right there. Yeah, so let's do that and just set the environments tab, processing extent to same as display. Okay, so now it's going to be this viewport here. So Hillshade, raster. I set it like 215. Z factor. Let's leave it at let's leave it at 1 for now. Click OK. And just let it do its thing. And there we go. That basically is your hillshade. And right now it's really intense. So I might actually bring the intensity down a bit. So let's back to this thing here. But basically it's just a rendered view of the terrain. And so for instance, if you want to have a plan that has a hill shaded background to it, this is an easy way to do it so you don't have to like render it in Rhino or anything like that. But let's do the same thing. I want to try to make it look good. Let's try 200. And if it looks too high, maybe just turn the Z vector down to a little number. Click OK. That didn't work. Okay, so that's Hillshade. Not a very successful tutorial, but there it is. Next thing I'll show you is Slope, which is another powerful tool to use. Just again, it's pretty simple, straightforward. Just click on the tool, bring in your raster. You want to use percent rise for this guy. Actually, I think the problem might have been this number here. It should have been feet. If I change it to that number, yeah, this looks right. Anyway, what this is essentially just a calculation of the steepness of the slope. And so you have a color ramp here. It's going from green to red. Red basically means really steep, and green basically means flat. So this is also a very useful analysis tool. I think I showed you guys a study I did previously that looked at slope. Basically, slopes that are too steep, you can't really build on. But this is kind of is part of a suitability study, for instance. And the cool thing is you can take this map, you can cut contours from this. So let's say you want to like get all the areas that are that slope here. Just go back to your contour tool. You can use this as a raster. You see, you can cut rasters pretty much of anything. And then the range of the raster. This is where you got to be very careful. You see these values here are in the millions, 20 million. You don't want to put a contour interval of 1. Otherwise, it will cut literally 20 million contours, which, in my opinion, is unwise. So we're going to set a contour interval of 1 million, for instance. So 1 with 6 zeros, and click OK. Should be fine, because that's fine. I think it's a good range. I hope it does. Yeah, should be fine in theory. Okay, so there you go. So then you can use this to basically get outlines of steep areas and soft areas and that kind of thing. And you can also visualize this using the color ramp as well. So just go here, quantities, value, contour, click apply. Same information, but now it's visualized like this. So another good analysis tool for that. And then the next one I'll show you guys is the viewshed. And this is also another one you can use. Say you want to say, let's like look at, where did I save it? Slope. Let's use this guy. Yeah. That's kind of hard to see where we're looking at. So I'm going to change the ramp real quick to something lighter colors. And let's say you want to, like, say you got this hill that have contours. Let's say if you're standing at the base of the hill, what area is visible? Maybe this is an interesting study you can look at to say, like, you know, these areas of my site are worth preserving because it's visible to the human eye. Areas outside of it, you don't need to be too concerned about it from a visual standpoint. What you need to do is essentially set points where the observer stands. So I need to set point by going to the drawing tool, making essentially a new shapefile. I'll just put a marker there. If we take this marker and convert to a feature, select graphics, this is all fine, we'll just leave it now. Okay, so now this point here is now a shapefile. Go to viewshed. You want to use viewshed, the first one. Viewshed 2 is a little different, it's not exactly the same thing. Input the raster, which is this. Input point. It automatically sends your database, so you're fine. Let's set this to 3.28084, as I did previously, and click OK. And what you'll see is a pretty cool study. Basically, areas in green are visible to the naked eye, and if you overlay this with your contour map, that is a very interesting suitability study. So if you have interesting sites with interesting terrain, this is a way you can start to, like, you know, bring a bit more focus to your design. So it's not, oh, we got to take care of everything. Well, if you want to take care of everything, you need to be rich, and you need to have the feed and the budget to do that. Landscape design is expensive, and unfortunately, you can't do all this stuff. Now, obviously, some things about this don't make a lot of sense. Like, for instance, all this green stuff here isn't actually visible to this eye. It's assuming this terrain here is 100% flat with no features, no trees. So you need to, you know, take this and then process it a little bit further with that. Like, if you know logically that the viewshed probably would be more like and right there. So it takes you partway there, but not completely. And so you just need to be a bit smart about how you use this information. And then from here, again, you can cut contours from this to get the outlines, or can convert it into a shapefile. Another way you can make contours out of rasters is to use the Spatial Analyst toolbar here. And if you select the raster you want to use, right now we want to use the viewshed NED, which is already selected by default. If you use this create contour button here, and if you select anywhere on that, it's going to create a contour, but since there's nothing in here, it's not going to, you got to select it at the ridge of it. Now you basically create a contour from that ridge, and then all you need to do is convert this ridge into a shape using the draw tool. So just, once it's selected, just go drawing, convert graphics to feature. I'll just call this viewshed. Automatically delete graphics have conversion. That's it. Then you can change its color, do whatever you want with it. Oops. Bring it to Rhino, bring it to CAD. So that's that. Okay, and then the last processing tool I'll show you guys is Aspect. Mostly you can play around with all these guys here, but the ones I'm showing right now are the ones I found to be the most useful. So Aspect basically gives you the direction of the contour. Like, is it facing north? Is it facing east? Is it facing south? This is good for sun studies. So if you want to pick the site with the most light on the right hill, this is how you do that. So if you click on Aspect, pretty simple here. Just bring your raster in, click OK. And you can see it automatically sets up your legend to the proper colors here. So now you know these are north-facing slopes, and these blue areas are south-facing slopes. So maybe use this as a way to determine how you place your buildings on your site in a smart way.